You would be able to help either side of the war, or you may be able to play the diplomatic route, and depending on how much evidence you acquired throughout the playthrough, you may be able to reveal the truth and reconcile the factions with some major concessions here and there. I think it would be an interesting thread if you were not the Dragonborn either, but rather the Emperor or his children, perhaps a prince or princess, are required to defeat Alduin, with your help of course. This complicates the civil war dynamic further because everyone needs the Emperor or his children to prevent Alduin from consuming the world. Maybe the Emperor is assassinated by the Dark Brotherhood, further complicating the matter, but ultimately this civil war in Skyrim is in an attempt to fit in with the prophecy. In all likelihood, there is no reason for a civil war if there was no White Gold Concordat or Altmeri Dominion. The reality is that if the Oblivion Crisis never happened, Tamriel would be a far, far better place, albeit likely a less interesting place. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is an alternate timeline where the Oblivion Crisis never happened. And remember, this is one potential alternate timeline. With so many variables, there are many possibilities, but we need to create these videos with a bit of direction. Regardless, we aren't saying this is the definitive alternate scenario, but it's just one that we think would be likely. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and please do request other alternate history scenarios that you would love to see explored. Give the video a like if you enjoyed. My name is Scott from Fudge Muppet, and I'll be back to nerd out with you again next time.
A sea of endless green, a maze of foliage with half-hidden cities growing like blooms from a flower. The home of the Bosmer is Tamriel's garden. When I think of a garden, I think of a respite from the politics of the household. While the other races of Tamriel vie for control of the seat at the head of the table, the Wood Elves are perfectly content to ramble amid the viridescent vegetation, taking in Ifra's natural wonders. The choir of birdsong, the susurration of wind through the leaves, the scent of wild berries ripening. A continent named Dawn's Beauty ought to have an equally beautiful garden, and the verdant expanses of Valenwood don't disappoint. Just as a garden is a patch of tranquility adjoining a home, Valenwood is a place of relative peace. The Wood Elves who call the province home are known for being the most pacifistic and peaceful of all of Tamriel's inhabitants. Some people, those who view aggression and domination as signs of superiority, use this description as a criticism. One archivist claims the Bosmer are quite willing to bend like saplings to the will of others. Another goes as far as to call them cowardly. But the reality is, despite their physiological similarities to the other elven races, the Bosmer are as alien to the Mer in their values and their culture as any beast folk. The Wood Elves, for the most part, don't care for intercontinental power struggles. They have the perfect homeland, one which they can navigate with ease, while travellers fumble with maps that fruitlessly attempt to bring order to Valenwood's untamed landscapes, and build roads in the vain hope of linking cities that move of their own volition. In reality, the Wood Elves aren't competing with their neighbours. Unless a threat to Valenwood presents itself, the Bosmer consider the slaying of others to be simply unnecessary, and wagers are often made prior to raids regarding the theft of prized possessions without a drop of blood spilled. This may seem weak to some, but those individuals have likely never fought against a Wood Elven archer. The Bosmer of Valenwood may not participate in most of Tamriel's major events, but that does not mean they have not yielded their share of greatness. Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to Fudge Muppet. In the second installment of my Greatest Mortal series, we're going to determine who was the greatest Wood Elf to ever set foot on Tamriel. The Imperials are a tough act to follow, but there are still plenty of contenders hailing from Valenwood. As the intro suggests, the Bosmer have their quirks, and there will even be some controversy and conspiracy surrounding a couple of these great Wood Elves. But before we get to those, I think we should start with an individual who perfectly encapsulates the combat prowess of the Bosmer. We don't have an awful lot of information about individual Wood Elves, as I'm sure many of their greatest characters never made it into the archives of the Imperials or the High Elves. But this individual has been documented, and her achievements show just how skilled Wood Elves can be on the battlefield. Her name is Lady Elena Bennock. Lady Bennock, like her ancestors, took to the bow in her early years. Marksmanship is a fundamental skill in a society where you must hunt for your meals. The Green Pact dictates that no Bosmer may harm the flora, so Wood Elves are entirely carnivorous.
Enemy at the back alley.
Enemy UAV overhead. Hello, cruise missile away. Enemy personal radar in the air. Hostiles are taking Charlie. Enemy personal radar in the air.
Enemy at the top.
Enemy UAV overhead. We're at Charlie. Hostiles have Charlie. Friendly Wilson on station. Beginning sweep.
At the back alley.
Securing Alpha. Enemy cluster strike incoming. Enemy holds 2 objectives. Securing Alpha. Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the
Enemy
top.
care package inbound. Enemy UAV overhead. Securing Alpha.
Enemy at the crossroads.
Enemy shield turret on the field. Enemy personal radar in the air. Tactical nuke, go for launch. Securing Charlie. Capture Charlie. Be advised, friendly strike inbound.
Riding on the back alley. Nice shot.
Friendly UAV overhead. Securing Alpha. We're winning this. Keep
Enemy
it
at the back
tight.
alley.
Allied cruise missile away. Just set it out. Pass got it. Friendly care package inbound. Who dares wins.